Hey everyone, we're here with Ben from Slaughtersun. If you don't know them, you should fucking check them out. They have a new EP coming out, or is it out, called Black Marrow. It's fucking fantastic.
Thank you. The EP, it's coming out January 10th, 2025. And it features songs that we re-released in 2024. They've been remixed, remastered, and we added a bonus live recording just to kind of shape out the deal. So everything was nice and crisp sounding, fresh, and we're very proud of it.
Right on. You should be. It sounds fantastic. It's got good production. That added track was recorded live at a studio that has since shut down, correct?
Yes. It was a bittersweet shutting down. That place was called Frightbox Recording. My buddy Bobby Torres owned it, and he's been, in the New Jersey metal scene for decades, producing tons of bands, both local and on major labels out of what we like to call a cracked end recording studio. It's just a very simple rehearsal room. And, we made a lot with very little in terms of, the space and the equipment. He's a good friend and a mentor of mine. So it was an honor to be able to do the last recording session in that room before we closed down. He's moving on. He's building his own home studio right now, and I'm doing the same.
Right on. That's so, it's always cool, especially like with where home recording is now versus like what it was, back in the like 90s. Like it
Mhm.
has come so far. You essentially just have your computer and go, bloop, okay, I can make it sound however I want.
Oh yeah, like the entry level gear, it's you can do everything with it, like literally. The only thing preventing you from making a top quality production with, inexpensive gear is just creativity or lack of creativity.
Yeah.
I like to use nicer gear myself, just having, experienced, and also just compatibility is with whatever like operating system you're using is a factor. And also just, as you get more and more experienced, your ear gets more attuned to things. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm starting to hear, at least myself, a difference between, a cheap microphone versus an expensive microphone. So, I'm probably now at this point going to lean towards different gear, but, it doesn't mean the cheap one's bad. You can do plenty with it. Like, you give me the cheap mics, I'll make something that sounds good. You know,
Yeah.
it's really, it's kind of like splitting hairs at a certain point, or was it a point of diminishing returns?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where it's at.
I'm pretty impressed with like someone sent me a song a few weeks ago. They recorded it all on an iPhone and I'm like, holy shit, like what is going on here? Like it sounds really good for being recorded on a phone. It blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the phones are a great example, especially with photos. Like, I feel bad. I'm glad I'm not in the photography industry
Yeah.
because, like I'm not I don't have the best eye, but like I can get a decent looking photo almost anywhere with my iPhone, just because the camera on it's so much better than like some of the previous ones.
Yeah. Like I'm so old. I feel like I'm at that point now where if it wasn't for my kids, I couldn't use technology. So like I'm like I used to make fun of my dad, like, Dad, this is super easy. And now I'm like, God, I know exactly what my dad went through, when I was
Yeah.
growing up. Like, ah, shit. I feel like an asshole, but I love you, Dad.
Yep. Yeah.
So what was the catalyst for Slaughtersun? I know you guys it project came to be in like 23, right?
Yeah, so that's when we officially got our act together. I'd been kind of brewing up the project in my head for several years prior. Like since at least 2016, 2017, I had some old demos uh, dating back to that time where I was putzing around with, the violins replacing guitars completely. Um, and, just as I'm starting to get older, more and more responsibilities. I got married last year. Um, just
Congratulations.
I guess it's kind of like an early midlife crisis. Like, oh shit, I got to get this project going because life's not going to get any easier.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a catalyst there. So yeah, in like 2022, I really just buckled down. Started taking, okay, I like these demos. I'm going to really finish them. Start some new stuff from scratch, and I just reached out to some buddies who I thought would be good fits for the band. I play in a band called Thank You Scientist, and that's where I know the bass player from. Uh, that's Cody McCorry. And then Jason Quinones, I met him recording his band Tombstoner over at Frightbox back at like, I think it was like at the beginning of COVID, like 2019, 2020. So we became friends then. And Justin Hillman, the vocalist, he plays in the band Cranial Damage. And also I met him through Frightbox and doing a couple of their EPs.
Right on. You know, it's funny, like those relationships, you, especially among musicians or in like the music world as a whole, you know, you meet someone and you have that connection, and it's like, you know what? Like, we might not do something today, but I think at one point we're gonna get it, you know, and make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I guess I was compelling with my pitch to the vision that I had, and these guys fortunately wanted to play ball, and so far I think the team is fantastic. Like everybody just really brings something special to the table. So I'm really glad to be working with the guys that I am.
Right on. That's always super cool. And I think that's something that when a band is special, it's like the sum of all the parts. Everyone has that very specific thing that they add, and it sounds tight. It's well produced, you know, it brings it together and makes people go, holy shit, you know, this is awesome.
Sick, thank you. Glad you're liking it this much. It's great to hear.
For sure. So
Yeah.
is there a song on the EP that you prefer over another song, or that you like playing more than another song?
I love them all, of course. I'll give a shout out to the tune "Ready Cell Awaits." That's the third single that we released, and that one actually is the first song that I wrote. So like my first demo actually was basically the sketches of that tune,
Right on.
um, and then after deciding to really finish it and put it together, Jason is really instrumental in helping me finish and kind of fine tune the structures of the songs. And I remember there's a part, it's like, I guess you call it a bridge kind of towards the end where it goes into a major key. And I remember we're jamming on that, and Jason said, this part, it sounds major, it sounds kind of happy. Like, you got to get something like really brutal after this. So that's where I came up with that, kind of odd time riff afterward that's just, just chugs and like double kits the whole time. But yeah, that song sits pretty dearly to me, as they all do. But that one's a lot of fun, and we've been closing our live sets with it.
That's awesome. That's actually the standout track for me too. I love that it changes it, and you don't expect it, you know, like it just comes and you're like, whoa, hold on, what's happening here? Like, this is fucking cool. It's a really good song.
Thank you.
So playing live, do you guys have plans to go out and like tour?
Nothing written out yet. We have a couple gigs booked next year. One of them not announced, but it's local area to northern New Jersey. The one that we do have announced is January 25th. We're kind of calling it our album release show, or EP release show rather. But it's not just us. Our buddies Festergore from Staten Island are on it. They just put out a pretty sick album through Iron Fortress Records. Um, Torturous Inception, another Staten Island band, is playing, and then of course the lovely boys in Tombstoner. That's Jason's band. They're going to be headlining the night because it wouldn't be a proper Staten Island show without them.
Fair. Well, that'll be fun. Where is that at?
It's Mother Pug Saloon, Staten Island, New
Okay.
York. And then of course, yeah, the everything's kind of up in the air next year. Yeah, I've been talking to some people who book in the area, so I'm sure we'll be getting some local dates. Hopefully Philadelphia. Just depending on the year and how things go. I mean, I want to get us starting to kind of move around the state area, move a little north, a little south. Scheduling with everybody is obviously the issue, but it's a little too early to say. I know that's the wrong answer when it's December of the year before, because usually this is when a lot of grand plans are going. But I'm working with what I can at the time.
Yeah. Well, and you know, everyone's got other things going on, so like getting matching those schedules up, and I think a lot of people don't realize is it's not just matching schedules with the bands, it's spouses and kids and jobs, and you know, there are a lot of variables that go into that. So
Yeah, that's honestly a big factor in the way I choose to run the band too. As much as I wish it was the type of thing where we could meet up weekly to rehearse, just realistically, it's not feasible. We're a bit spread out. Cody lives the farthest away down in Toms River, New Jersey, so that's about, hour 15 for me. So it's a big schlep for him to get up here. Or sometimes we kind of meet in the middle, but, Justin's got a crazy work schedule. He wakes up at like 5 in the morning every day. It's, him getting to rehearsal, it's like he's tired by the end of the day, of course, as we all are.
Yeah.
But I make a point the fact that I know how to produce and I can record. I just use that to my advantage. So everything that we're going to work on, I demo it out pretty meticulously. Have tempo maps. Me and Jason will work one-on-one. I'll just go over to his place, just the two of us. He'll be on the E-kit. He'll help me flesh out the tunes. Anything that we cover, I go home, I update the demo. So okay, great. We have like a solid click track. We have a good scratch rhythm track. I'll program some drums. We all have something to listen to, and then I'll actually go and score out in a finale all the violin parts, and I'll send that to Cody to make it easier for him to write bass parts. Because if you have the track and something to look at, notation just makes everybody's life easier. So I'm just trying to streamline everything so everybody can do their homework, and then we can come in like pros to rehearsal and then just knock it out.
Well, I guess I'm going to say that's probably a large reason why it sounds as tight as it is. All
I
that.
think so. I mean, yeah, just everybody doing their homework. Just coming into the to rehearsal, because in other bands I've played in over the years, and not to say there's certainly merit in meeting up frequently, but like Thank You Scientist, for instance, we used to rehearse 3 days a week, 4 hours on Sunday, 2 hours Monday night, 2 hours Tuesday night, and for several years that was the schedule. It was great. It was a good experience. We were very well rehearsed, obviously.
Yeah.
We had a good chemistry. But, in hindsight, it really wasn't the best use of time all the time. Because, especially if you're writing with everybody sitting in the room, usually it's like two, maybe three guys who are really kind of going into a part, usually the drummer, guitar, bass, are really hashing something out. But then, me, the horn players, were kind of waiting for the foundation to be put in before we can start adding our parts on top. And and then our singer, like, if he's got no song to sing over yet, he's
Yeah.
doesn't know what he's doing. So yeah, definitely having lived and done all that and seeing, okay, there's some shortcomings as far as efficiency. How can I do that better? I like to keep that in mind for running rehearsals.
I think there are very different people in the industry, right? You have the people like you who are like, okay, I want to streamline. I don't want to have a bunch of wasted time. I don't like, yeah, we can hang out and have fun and shit, but like when we go into something, let's have a purpose. Let's do it. And then on the other hand, you've got other people who are like, hey, dude, let's like grab a beer, smoke a joint. We'll just kind of see what happens. And you're like, and it works, right? For both people.
Yeah,
Not that one is better than the other. It's just it's funny.
yeah. Well, I mean, but that's just it too. If you streamline the rehearsal, you have goals. Okay, we're gonna run this set, or we're gonna work on this tune, and then I show up to rehearsal with a pizza and a six pack, and like, all right, let's let's chill out.
Yeah.
Get the work done, and then relax.
Yeah. Then we can get smashed and forget everything. Like it'll be great.
Precisely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, early days of being in a band, there was a lot of those like, oh, let's play and let's drink. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, what the fuck happened last night? Like, I don't remember anything. Probably not the
Yep.
best, like not a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
professional setting for a band.
yeah. Not optimal for productivity.
No, that's the truth. So, over the next like 12 months, what is the biggest goal that you have for Slaughtersun?
Biggest goal is getting our first album completed. Um, I am working my ass off right now to finish the demoing for it. I'm nearly complete. The goal I had set was to have like the first phase of demos done by the end of this year. And depending on how buckled down I can get for the next week, I might just be able to do it. But regardless, I'm in a very good place. as far as getting close to achieving that goal. So yeah, then me and Jason will be meeting up to start hashing through the tunes, and just start getting everything together. So yeah, the album that's going to be first and foremost, and then second off will just be you know hitting people up, hitting bands up, and just getting on some sick shows, and just getting out there doing it.
Yeah, well, you're in a good place for that. I think that's one of the great things about the Northeast is the accessibility to so many markets from there, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good area. It's I feel lucky to have grown up in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, and I'm still living here. I'm in Lyndhurst now. Um, but yeah, just having access to New York, I like being near the city. I don't like living in the city. It's a
Yeah.
bit too much for me. But and also, I can shoot down to Philadelphia in about 2 hours when the traffic's not too bad. So that's another big outlet too. A lot of people there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty happening area. So I think that works a lot in our favor.
Yeah. I like strategically placed bands like, and I say strategically, sometimes it just works out, like where you are is really great. I think like I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and right here there's, same thing, like access to a lot of places, sometimes a little further drive, but Indianapolis, Nashville, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, it's all like that Midwest
Hmm.
market is all right there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Go
Yeah.
out and see any
Louisville's a
band you
fun
want.
Louisville's a
Yes.
fun market. Actually, one of my favorite tour stories of all time happened in Louisville. This was in, I think, 2016, 2017. My band WINDFAERER, we did about a week-long tour. We were playing with Ancalagon. They're a band that was up in Rochester, a really sick melodic death metal band that unfortunately is no longer. But go listen to their back catalog. And with our friends Winter Hymn. I know the drummer Chris, he was based in Louisville, and then a couple of them were in like the Cincinnati area.
Chris Smith.
Chris actually played in Yep, Chris Smith, like
Yeah.
Volcandra, like your shirt.
I love Chris,
Man,
dude. Such a good
oh,
dude.
he is the man. He helped so much with that tour. He's like he knows everybody. Um,
Yes, he does.
yeah, yeah. Actually, he kind of went off the grid, as far as I was aware, for a few years. Um, and then when I was on tour with Thank You Scientist last year, we were playing Nashville with Between the Buried and Me. And I'm looking around like I'm on stage, and I look in the audience and I see dude with the long blonde hair. I'm like, oh, freaking way, man.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, me and him, we had a couple beers and just shot the shit after the set. And it was a really, really nice surprise. So shout out to Chris Smith and whatever band he's playing in right now.
He's not right now. He's like,
Really?
yeah, I think he's just my understanding. There's a killer band here called Redivider.
Hmm.
Great, great fucking death metal, and they need a drummer. And Chris would be such a great fit for it because he crushes on the drums. But he's like, he doesn't want to commit. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to commit to anything right now. Like I get it, but man, fucking love seeing him play.
Yeah, yeah. No, his energy's unparalleled. Great player. Actually, I remember. So, because he was in Winter Hymn, so we were doing some shows with them on this Windfair tour. So I'll circle back to the Louisville story. But just I remember we'd be in our van, and the Winter Hymns they just took their own cars because they're local to various cities. I remember we were passing Chris on the highway, and he's just cruising the right lane, just straight shot highway, and he's drumming on his steering wheel.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
yeah, hopefully he doesn't get tracked down and persecuted for that.
Nah, I'm sure he'll be good. It's such a small world. That's what I love about like the metal community. It's like, oh yeah, Chris who played it. Oh yeah, fucking I know him.
Yeah, yeah.
Loves seeing him at shows, dude.
Likewise. But yeah, so the Louisville story, we had just played the Mag Bar. So that was the show that we had booked. Show went great, a decent turnout. And it was kind of an early night because they had, I think, like a DJ night or something going on after. So they basically rushed us out. And it was relatively early in the evening, and we're just hanging out and not sure what to do. And somebody mentioned there was an open mic at, I think it was the Highland Tap Room. Um,
Yeah.
so we went there to check it out, and yeah, there's like some dude hacking on an acoustic guitar, bar or whatever. And we just go to the person around the mic, and we're like, "Can we play?" So we just brought in all of our amps. We brought in a drum set, and Callaghan played a set, and then we played a set, and everybody came in. Like the place must have been 200 people. It was shoulder to shoulder packed.
It's this
Um,
big too.
yeah, it was this tiny space, and people were just like, "What the hell is going on here?" They walked in and just crowded the place, and I'm like standing on the bar playing. And it was a lot of fun. Definitely a night to remember. One of the best tour nights ever.
For sure. When you guys come back, well, when you come back through, if it's a Monday night, Highlands Tap Room is where you want to play because that is like they do Metal Mondays, and that
Really,
yeah, the crowd is like built in. It is always fucking packed.
that's good to know. Because yeah, I'm glad to hear that place is still around, and the fact that they're doing actual metal shows now. So, I mean, maybe we have something to do with that.
Maybe.
I'll tell myself that. Why not?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Pat on the back. Way to go, Ben. Yeah. Fuck yeah. And Magbar, I feel like almost every band that comes through plays, has at one point played Magbar. I mean, I think we've had DRI was just there last year, like Weed Eater. I don't
Hmm.
know. A lot of really fun bands. It's a cool little shithole.
Actually, speaking of Louisville, I don't know if you heard of this guy. I happen to have a mug with him, but his name's Bo Daddy Harris.
I do not know him.
He's like he's like a I guess you could call him sort of like a country like a lounge type singer. At least when I discovered him, I saw him at what is some diving place. I think it was called like the Red Devil Inn. It was
Oh,
just
Air
like some
Devil in.
random divey bar in Louisville, and he was performing that night. He was like just in there singing to one of his tracks, and just check him out. Just check him out.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so Air Devil in right across from the airport.
Yep, that's it.
Yep. Yeah, another great little shithole. I feel like it's been there for like 100 years or something.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a cool spot. Yeah, I remember walking in that place because I just like hanging out at dive bars. It's fun, and yeah, that place was it hit all the nails. It was just right, nice and homey. Had a
Hell
nice
yeah.
cold Budweiser there.
Hell yeah. Uh, what does your like tour schedule look like in in the following year for maybe Thank You Scientists and Windfarer?
So yeah, right now it's pretty light on the books right now. So thank you, scientists. We just announced our new singer. And we're doing our first gig with him. It's in April. We're playing Cruise to the Edge. It's that the festival with Yes and a bunch of other prog rock bands. So that's going to be our first show with Damon, the new singer. Our booking agent has said that we've been getting offers, but we're also focusing on writing the next album because we want to
Yeah.
bring in our new singer with some proper material that he's contributed towards.
Introduce him
So
properly. Yeah.
exactly. And Windfarer, we're also starting to get some ideas together. A few of the guys just had kids, so that's why we've been dormant for a couple of years. And also Mike G and Itai are in Replicant. So if you're not familiar with Replicant, look them up. They put out a great album this year called Infinite Mortality. Have you heard of it?
No, my cat, sorry, my cat just like she
Oh, I thought you're like, yeah, I got it right here.
no, she's literally like she's sitting right here
Oh, what's her name?
and her name is Sophia. So I was petting her and her back leg come up and clawed my finger and I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Smooth. Yeah, my
What a
guys are lurking around here somewhere. I got two, but they don't usually interrupt me in interviews. They've been
yeah,
good with
well,
that.
that is literally her spot. If I'm here sitting in front of the desk, she is like chilling right there. Like I was editing an interview earlier and shorts and she just was like, cool, I'm gonna hang out right here, motherfucker. Like so she's I think she's like 10 years old, maybe 11. But
Hmm.
we moved into the house 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. She came right into the basement and didn't come out. She started coming out, like coming upstairs about a year or two ago.
Wow,
Yeah, like
it's,
she was like,
that's odd.
this, yeah, just well, between I think between like the new space and we've got three pit bulls. So
Mm.
she was like, this is my space, leave me alone. And now she comes upstairs and that they're all friends. All the
Hmm.
the dogs and the cat like all hang out together, but she runs, Sophia runs it all. The
Of
dogs get
course.
get too close. She's like, get the fuck away from me. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, all right.
Yep, yep. Nice.
Hell yeah. So, how far is, well, I'm not going to ask how far because I'm assuming you guys are just beginning on both, like with both of the other bands to start like the demoing and whatnot.
Yeah, WINDFAERER, we've been wanting to uh, get back and play. It's been a few years. The last time we played, I think, was at the beginning of 2020. So we've been dormant for some time, but if anybody out there who follows us, it's like we're not done. We're just chilling. Like we're gonna be back. Um, but uh, but yeah, thank you, scientist. Is definitely going to be doing some more this coming year. It just can't say anything yet, um, so I'll leave it at that. And but yeah, I'm still going to be pushing Slaughtersun very hard to get that first album done.
Hell yeah.
So it's a bit daunting, and also on top of all this, I'm building my studio right now. My wife and I bought a house earlier in April, so I'm working out of my basement right now, and it's perfectly functional. Like I've had bands come in, I've made some great recordings down here. But the garage, we have like an 18 by 20 space. I'm gonna renovate it and get it all tricked out to be like my new studio. So
Hell
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to that. It's a large project.
Yeah,
So yeah, a
because you
lot
don't
of
have enough to do already.
seriously. But yeah, I think it'll be great to have the space. It'll be soundproofed. My wife works from home most of the time, so I'll be able to make noise with bands any day of the week there. And I don't have to worry about bothering her down here with somebody smashing drums while she's on a meeting.
Yeah, not too much anyway. Like
Yeah, not too much.
she's gonna be on a meeting and they're like, what is that noise?
Hmm.
It's nothing. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. How far into the Slaughter Sun album are you?
I've got like 6 tunes in demoed form that I would say it's the demo is complete and good to show the other guys to start working on. And I got three more that are probably 70% there. So actually later this afternoon, I'm going to be working on that a bit, and yeah, over the next few days this week. Um, yeah, the songs that I have, you know, done. I'm really starting to think about production ideas in my head. Because the EP, it was 4 singles that I decided to just remix, kind of make them sound a little more consistent, and then just kind of slump them together. So this time now I'm being a bit more methodical about, all right, I'm gonna really think about the layout of the tracks, how's everything gonna flow, what kind of sounds, what kind of interludes, because I really like albums that have, something to bridge the songs and it's not just, here's a song, here's a song, here's a
Full
song.
speed ahead, right?
Um, yeah, yeah, I want to make the album kind of more of an experience, um, and as opposed to just, separate tracks put together. So I'm really starting to think about what I'm going to do there. And yeah, so I'll be playing with all sorts of textures. I mean, obviously, I play the electric violin, so you got effects pedals and all sorts of things to pick from there. I play acoustic as well, so maybe I'll do some string sort of soundscapes. Cody plays the theremin, so that will inevitably make its way on to the record somewhere. But
Yes.
yeah, just thinking about the production as a whole. How to make it flow, how to make it really compelling to listen to. Yeah, I want it to be just the type of thing you can sit down, you can experience it, and I'm aiming for maximum 40 minutes in length or so, enough to fit on a single LP if the opportunity to get it pressed ever comes up.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what I'm brainstorming right now. But there's a lot to be done.
For yeah, there always is, you're obviously you're still in like the pre-production, working out the songs and all that shit. You know, sometimes things change, but it sounds like you have a very clear idea of what the goal is for the album, which is I think sometimes really hard for most musicians when they start writing.
Yeah. Um, and a lot of it comes down to simply just experience. My first the WINDFAERER was the first band that I joined that was like, all right, we're actually putting out albums. We're going out, we're trying to make something of it. Um, and you know, Mike Gonsalves, he's the band leader in WINDFAERER and a longtime friend at this point. He is like the master of aesthetics. I know like a lot of the imagery in the lyrics he writes for Replicant, like he just knows how to kind of bridge things together, what makes sense together, what doesn't. He's got very good taste in that, and that's something I admire about him, and that I definitely try to draw from. Working by him side by side. I have my own set of strengths that I bring, but that's something that he's very good with. So yeah, I like having worked with him out of all these years and doing the stuff on the WINDFAERER albums. We've gotten to create together um, and just get into each other's heads a bit. And actually, our last record that we put out, Breaths of Elder Dawns, I think that was definitely like the culmination of everything we've done so far. 'Cause, I think those tracks all really blend together pretty nicely. And then having put the interludes in, just some other like kind of special production. Everybody brought something to the table for that, but I think that was like that was a very fun album to make. It was actually kind of a COVID album because we were all remote for the most part, and I was just driving over to everybody's house, to track a little bit, then go home. It was crazy. We weren't meeting at just like a central studio for most of it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, just having done that so much, and also working with Thank You Scientist, that band is a mixed bag of almost anything goes. Um, and Tom, Tom, our band leader, and also one of my closest friends. He's like an encyclopedia of music because he worked in a record shop for about a decade when he was in high school and college. Um, so he would just put on random albums all the time, and he just knows so much, and still to this day he's listening to tons of music. So he's full of ideas too. So working with him has also been priceless for kind of absorbing. All right, what is somebody who has a very very like varied and like kind of seasoned taste in different things like. Yeah, it's like as Stallone says, no man is an island. You really got to find who you gel with, and just work together, like build each other up.
That's it. I think a lot of people don't realize that you really, especially in a band aspect, you really feed off of each other.
Yeah,
It's look at it a lot like marriage. Like that relationship is so important. You're gonna have good times, you're gonna have bad times, but you're gonna learn from each other and hopefully grow together into a just a super powerful force.
yeah, and like anything, but especially like marriage is a great example of just commitment.
Yeah.
Um, you have to just have a goal. You have to drive towards it. And not every day is going to be a great day. There might be some disagreements, there might be some bumps in the road, but if the mutual commitment is there to keep going and to always do your best, and be there for each other, then I think that's going to lead to success. Um,
Absolutely.
so and yeah, so with the album, so just trying to be very, and also I'm trying to just have a goal and not be too nitpicky because you know yes, being detail oriented is important and it leads to greatness, but there's a point where the details are just excessive and it's like, all right, this is just kind of slowing us down. Does it really need to get that extra 1% better if it's going to delay the project 5, 6 years? Like,
Right.
At the point where I am, like, I don't see that anymore. I think it's more important to just move on because this is a snapshot. And regardless, yeah, I'm gonna put this album out, and then 2 years from now, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have done that. I should have put this here. No matter how much time I spend on it, that's inevitable. I think any artist can relate to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, look at it kind of like you said, right? It's a snapshot, but it's also as a band, like if you take 13 years to do an album, by the time that you get to the point where it's released, you're like, damn, we should have put this out at like year two. Like what's really the point of taking that long? Because you want to, I look at it kind of like content creation. You just get out, keep it in front of people to keep the name fresh, keep top of mind, because at the end of the day, it's a sales job.
Yeah,
It's so
and well, you cut out a little bit. I didn't hear
Oh,
the
I said
last
that's so
sentence you
I
said.
just kind of whispered like that's so weird to think about it like a sales job.
Yeah, yeah, and and I like to be business minded, running things. But it is art at the end of the day. So just finding the right balance between the two. But yeah, that's a very good point on the whatever material you're putting out kind of becoming stale, at least to you.
Yeah.
I was actually just talking with Steve from Festigore about it. We were at a gig the other night, um, and for Festigore, it's like their first album. It's their first full length album that they put out on a label, and he's telling me like, yeah, it's just a strange feeling. Like these songs to us are just old. Like we're moved on to new stuff now, but because you have to send everything to the label, get the artwork, get the press, everything just organized. It takes time. Like you got to get that album sent like 6 months, a year in advance sometimes, depending on the schedule. Because also if you're going to get something pressed to vinyl, that's also these days often heavily delayed. Um, so yeah, just it's a very
It
odd
is.
odd business. It's a kind of a dumb business if you ask me. Sometimes having been in it long enough and just dealing with some of the bullshit. Um,
So much
but
red tape and
oh yeah,
you're right. The length of time. I mean, I can't tell you how many bands I've talked to that are like, yeah, by the time this, the album actually hits the shelves, like shit, we've already written another album. We're ready to move on to the next thing.
yeah, it's yeah. So you got to be patient, but yeah, just steadfast. Just always moving forward. Completing things, and also one thing I've learned at this point is to not perfectly, but I'm getting better at not doubting myself. You know, that's the great thing about having good people in your band to work with, because I feel like now, like when I'm writing demos, a little bit kind of shooting at the hip, you know, just putting something there, because I know if something's good, they'll tell me, or if it sucks, they'll tell me it sucks, and I'll come up with something different, or somebody else will. So yeah,
You
having
need
that
that.
that mutual trust, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice knowing like they're gonna be honest with me. They're not just yes men in my corner. Like, hey, dude,
yeah,
cool idea, I guess, but we could do better, or that fucking rocks.
yeah, exactly. Got to have that.
Yeah. It's really amazes me at how many people, like how many musicians, regardless of what level they are in the industry, have like the imposter syndrome. Like, even some of those shit, a lot of those larger bands right before they go out on stage, uh, they're like, fuck, how did we get here? We suck. But like, shit, get out of the imposter syndrome. You got this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anytime you're looking back at everything that you've gone through, um, yeah, definitely for Thank You Scientist, it's very surreal. Because we're at a point now where we go out on the road and we each make a decent amount of money, which is that's the dream that I was living to that I was working towards when I decided to I almost dropped out of college back in the day, and I only stayed in because my parents just insisted that I finish, get a degree in anything. Um, and the only thing I could think of that I wanted to do was to play in a band and tour one day. So the piece of paper itself didn't really help with that, but I had a very good teacher in college. His name's Boris Kucharski. He's a classical violinist. So if you're interested, look him up. He's got some phenomenal records. And also that's where I met Tom from Thank You Scientist and a few of the other guys, the older band members who were Montclair students at the time. That's how I eventually met them. So yeah, just it's putting yourself out there, being in the right place at the right time, creating opportunities, and luck, a lot of luck,
But
and,
a
and,
lot
and
of
working
luck,
hard.
but what is luck? It's the hard work and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
It's the culmination of all these things. And if you didn't put in the effort and get out there and do the thing, you'd never be in a position to, you know, capitalize on that luck, as you call it.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Putting the work in there, like, I mean, yeah, that's putting yourself in the position for opportunity.
Yep.
Um, but like the way Thank You Scientist broke, they were active for a few years before I joined. They had done one like 2 week or so kind of like Southeast U.S. tour, um, and then I had joined the band because the former violinist, he developed carpal tunnel. He was a friend of mine, um, and yeah, he basically had to step down, and he recommended me, so I auditioned and got in. And a few months after joining, we played a gig at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, and you know, the venue called us. They asked, "Hey, there's a guy named Claudio Sanchez who wants to come to the show. He has to be on the guest list. Can we put him on the list?" And he's the guy from Coheed and Cambria. And we thought it was a joke, so we said, "Yeah, whatever." Didn't think anything of it. But at the time he was trying to start a label, and he came to the show to scout us out. He only heard of us because one of his, I think, intern or employees was listening to us while working, and Claudio just heard it. He's like, "This band's sick. I like this." So they decided to take us on tour, and that was the first thing that really kind of brought us out of the local band sphere.
Yeah.
Put us in front of tens of thousands of people throughout the country. Some sold out shows. That first tour we played a Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, sold out, which was really freaking surreal. That was
Yeah.
it was fucking mind blowing. So that was that was one stroke of luck that definitely helped us to get to the next level. And then all sorts of other things pop up, and you deal with them as they come. That's yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
for
life.
sure. That's cool though. That's cool that he came out to like scout you guys for his label. That's Coheed and Cambria for me. I never really got into them. I didn't try to get into them, so I wasn't super familiar. I went with took my daughter and then my best friend, his wife, and their son to go see the Mastodon Coheed tour. I
Hmm.
fucking love Mastodon. And so we go and they're like, dude, you got to watch Coheed. And they absolutely blew my mind live. I was like, holy shit. Like, whether I like the albums or not, I will absolutely go see them live again.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good live show. The fans are insane. Like you know, the fans, you could say, are part of the show because everybody's there singing pretty much every word to all the songs.
Yep.
And and they're great to tour with. All four of the guys are very very sweet people. I know me and Travis, we like to bond over Manowar songs. We'll just walk past each other and like scream out some lyrics. We have fun doing that. Funny additional fact. So actually, my father and Travis from Coheed, his stepfather, they play in a rock band together called Satin.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, so give my old man a little plug. They got some tunes out, and they're actually just starting to kind of play some gigs. Their band started back in like the late '80s, and they disbanded in the '90s for a while because they start to have families, and I think a few years ago they just made a call to each other, decide to get going again, and yeah, Chuck, Travis's stepfather, he's like the new addition to the band. But yeah, just yeah, I had to throw that out there. It's a fun little fact because
Go check out
you know
Satin.
Go check out Satin. Check out my old man. See what he's doing.
Hell yeah. That's pretty awesome. That's funny how that like culminated for them. Like, oh, now
Yeah.
they're in a band together. Shit. Now I guess you and
Yep.
Travis got to start something. Uh-oh.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll see
see.
what happens. We're both busy guys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sounds like it. Like three projects and you're planning on, writing for all three over the next year or so. Like, holy shit.
yeah, yeah, got my work cut out for me.
That you do. Um, okay, Ben, dude, I've had a lot of fun chatting with you. I appreciate you coming and taking the
Likewise.
time to, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. No, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to the music, and I'm happy to hear that it really struck a chord with you that you want to talk.
For sure. I honestly, I really would like to see Slaughtersun come to Louisville to play or be, a little closer for me to drive to. I'd love to see you
Yeah.
guys live.
Well, I know Chris Smith. We both know Chris Smith, and
Yes.
he knows everybody. So that I know at least two people want to see the band in Louisville. You and Chris.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna send him a photo and be like, "Hey, dude, like Ben says, what's up? You gotta fucking get them down here."
yeah, I'll get on the phone, get on some emails, and I'd like to try and make it happen this year. Let's see what we can do.
Hell yeah, it'd be great, dude. Well, again, Ben, like, thank you for your time. I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, I'm digging the EP. I'm super excited for the LP. So, fuck, I can't wait.
Good, me too. I think I'm feeling good about the stuff we're brewing up. So
Hell yeah, dude.
yeah, hang in there.
Awesome. Well,
All
have
right.
a great day, dude.
Thanks very much. You too. Happy New Year.
Thanks. You too. See ya.